Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. These are the folks I use. They do a great job of protecting your home. They can protect your business as well. They do home and residential work. They've been doing this for 40-something years now, since 1971, I believe. That's a long, long time. I celebrated a birthday yesterday. Trust me, that's a long, long time ago, 1971. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, they are the best. I wouldn't tell you about them if they weren't. If you need, whether it's mosquitoes, whether they're coming up in the spring, whether it's horrible bed bugs, whatever, ladybugs, whatever you got in your house, they can get rid of them. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Bob Hodge, he just takes a pistol to the things in his house that he wants out of there, which the lesson there is don't go near Bob's house without an invitation. Bob Hodge, thanks for joining us. We got 3 quick questions, quick hitters here on UT football. I'll start with you here. Quentin Dormady, Sharon Jones, Jarrett Garantano going to enter spring practice battling for the starting quarterback position. Everybody's talking about wide open competition. Larry Scott, the new offensive coordinator, said, hey, it is truly going to be wide open because Mike Canales, the new quarterback coach, doesn't know these guys. Okay, that sounds good, but in reality, Mike Canales isn't going to be making the call about who's the starting quarterback next year, nor should he. Your thoughts on how this thing's going to turn out? That's going to be Butch Jones' decision.
It's going to be Butch Jones' decision. It has to be Butch Jones' decision because it's Butch Jones' job, and I think how well his job goes this year is going to be dependent a lot on who your quarterback is and how well they play. You get lightning in a bottle, Tennessee could surprise a lot of people and have a good season. But if every assistant coach on offense comes to Butch Jones and says, Coach, you're wrong. It's got to be player A, you're wanting player B. Okay, he'll still be the one that makes that decision.
Even if it goes with
Even if it goes with the other way, it's going to be his decision. So, yeah, it's wide open, but it's Butch Jones' call.
All right, let me throw one out for the whole panel here. The rumors about Brady Hoke replacing defensive line coach Steve Stripling continue to percolate. I was told several weeks ago, that one's been, it was almost backburnered. It was such a done deal supposedly weeks ago. You're also looking at Don Mahoney, we talk about every week. Still no new contract for him. Most people think Walt Wells, who's already on the staff as an underling, will be promoted to fill that slot if, let me underline, if those moves come to pass and you trade Stripling and Mahoney for Brady Hoke, the former head coach at San Diego State, Michigan, and he was defensive coordinator at Oregon last year, and for Walt Wells, who's been on the staff and apparently recruits like the guy this year when he was out on the road. Do you feel better or worse about Tennessee staff making those changes, or do you have any idea?
I don't feel better, so I guess that makes it mean I feel worse.
So you're not like Chuck. You won't go the middle ground. Good for you, Jimmy.
I'm trying not to cavalierize the question. Look, I think Stripling's a really good defensive line coach, and I think he's done a very good job, and I will take what I know about him over what I don't know about Hoke. And with Mahoney, look, I don't think the offensive line has performed great, certainly, but when I talk to all these offensive linemen off to the side even, they really like him. And I don't know that Wells is an upgrade over Mahoney, so I would say no.
Okay. Better or worse, guys?
I'd say better because what I do know about Brady Hoke is that he knows defensive linemen. And I'm not just going to lean on 1997 when he was the D-line coach for Michigan's national championship team. If you look at Michigan's team this year, they've got 3 defensive linemen that will be drafted. They're all Brady Hoke players. And last year they had another guy that was drafted in the 4th round. This is what Brady Hoke does well. He's a very good recruiter. Talking to people who know him from my time up in Michigan, John, he's a dynamic figure who has a lot of connections on the West Coast, and I think he can add an element to that coaching room.
They lost a lot of seniors this year, a lot of senior starters at Michigan this year that were guys that Brady Hoke brought in. So the guy can clearly recruit. Jesse, your thoughts, better or worse about the staff?
I'm going to say better, and mainly because I think Steve Stripling, if he does move on, will kind of hold an emeritus role on the staff, and so he'll still be there with these defensive linemen. It'll just be more of an off-the-field role. Part of the reason they didn't make the move, I don't think, earlier is because so many of these recruits really respect and like Steve Stripling. So I think if he's still around the program, I'm going to say better because 2's better than 1.
All right. Very quickly, Mike Griffith, last one for you, about a minute here.
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings was cited this week for marijuana possession. You wrote about it. Butch Jones didn't really comment. I think that's going to be handled internally, et cetera, on the punishment front. He didn't say much in detail about it. You wrote about it at SECcountry.com. You think it's a little bit bigger deal than just a citation?
Yeah, because I think Jennings is a bigger deal than just another player. I mean, we already know that once these guys run through the tee, life changes. They're held to a different standard regardless of what pop society says as far as recreational drug usage being accepted. It's not. If you're an athlete and you're a public figure, you've got that responsibility, not just to the public and your fans, but to your teammates as well. Listen, Jennings is important. He may be the most pivotal, most dynamic offensive player on the Tennessee football team, certainly even in the SEC, if you consider the impact he had on the Florida game and the Georgia game and the potential this guy has. This guy's a future NFL receiver if he keeps his act together. And as Lou Holtz once said about Derek Watson, he's either going to be filling up stadiums or he's going to be sweeping them out. And it's right now. This is the crossroads.
That would seem a little harsh for a guy who's been cited for marijuana.
If that was all there was to Juwan Jennings, but Juwan Jennings has had issues before that maybe haven't been as publicized within the team. I'm telling you, the guy's got to grow up. It's make or break time for Jennings, and it'll affect Tennessee.
Say this too, on the field, whenever there's some sort of ruckus on the field, he's in it. I mean, he is the first guy in there when they're trying to separate players. He's having to be pulled away and pushed out of there. So
That part's not so bad. It's the offense.
no, I think one ties to the other, though. If you're walking the line on the field in terms of what you can get away with, and then off the field you're walking the line, okay. I was trying to support you just for a little bit there, but instead you went too far in your article.
now I'm
All
in
right,
trouble.
when we come back, why I think Butch Jones should pull the ripcord and get out of here while he can. Come on back. We'll talk about 5-star heart.